For Global Book Network, I'm Zach Feldman. Thanks so much for tuning in here on globalbooknetwork.tv and on our YouTube channel at Global Book Network. Joining us over the phone right now, he is an author of a brand new book called 3:45 a.m. Time for a Pot of Rum. It is Fabio Osaben. Fabio, thanks so much for joining me here on Global Book Network. How you doing?
My pleasure, Zach. I've been looking forward to this. I'm doing fine.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Well, tell me all about this brand new book. I mean, it's got a cool looking cover. It's got, the illustrations are awesome. Tell me about it.
Well, I do all my own photography. I've been into this for a long time, and I put things through filters, to create an effect.
Yeah.
The 3:45 a.m. is the time that I was born, and I've written 2 other books, and the theme, the Pot of Rum, seems to follow through from one book to the other. It's just a little bit of whimsy on my part. But anyway, so that's what the 3:45 a.m. is all about. On the back cover is another picture of me, and I pay homage to my parents, who are no longer with us. They're out in the universe. And it's one of the pages from my book. And it kind of goes through my life as an immigrant, because I came from Italy. And within a very short time, like 10 years, I was able to get a degree in aerospace technology. But I went right into singing with the Metropolitan Opera House. I had concerts in Lincoln Center and Carnegie Recital Hall. I did a couple of Broadway shows and then nightclubs all over the place. And it led me to being a cruise director on cruise ships.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you did that for 16 years. Tell me a little about how that experience really, changed your life.
700 cruises. It's the greatest learning experience that I ever had, because it's like 8 jobs rolled into one.
Well, I mean, you had to obviously get rid of seasickness immediately.
Seasickness is a mental thing. As long as you can see where you're going and you see what the ship is doing, you don't get seasick. But I think people work themselves up into being seasick, and they do, But
totally.
It's really not a problem, Never was a problem with me anyway.
That's awesome. I mean, you were on cruise ships for a long time, and that's kind of where your career took off, right?
Yeah. A lot of the book covers that. It actually covers one chapter that lasted about 30 years in my life. It's a nice sort of circle from when I was an immigrant to a time 30 years later. But you have to read the book to really get into it. It's a lot of romance and things of that nature,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, did you ever think when you were going for a degree in aerospace technology, though, that you would ever end up on a cruise ship?
No, not really. Not really. I have a tremendous love for astronomy and rockets and all that. I still do. Mm-hmm. And it's one of my interests,
Yeah.
But I also developed this interest for singing. And that apparently took over and has guided my life ever since. I don't sing anymore, but I still keep up with it. In the learning end, the vocal scene,
Yeah.
It's ever present in my life.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it's really cool because, going from being, having a degree in aerospace, having this idea that you're going to do one thing and then just doing a 180 completely, out of nowhere. Was that something that just came natural, or were you shocked by it when you finally started seeing success from singing?
Well, I always had these 2 interests in astronomy and singing came naturally because the Italians sing, So I sort of was doing both, but the singing actually took over. I think I finished my degree purely to satisfy my father. My mother had passed away earlier. I tried to satisfy him, but the singing took over, and he finally sort of gave in and said, "Okay, you're gonna be a singer," And yeah.
Did your parents kind of push you into that degree then?
No.
You were still always interested in it then?
It was purely an interest on my part, what I wanted to do, and I pursued it. My father was there behind me, pushing me to make sure that I go through it, that I get it. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then, but I went into singing, very
That's
glamorous.
amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. And you really made an incredible career out of it. Obviously working in these major venues too. When you look back at your history, though, and what you did in this book at on 3:45 a.m. What was like the highlight besides the cruise ship? Like, what venue really stuck out to you?
Well, the book covers uh, philosophy in a very big degree because I ventured into philosophy when uh, I was in a crossroads in life where everything seemed to fall apart. I looked like $1 million. I had a suntan, but I was an empty shell. I didn't have any answers. I didn't have any questions. Something happened horrendous in my life, and it caused me to just kind of stop for a year. And I laid out in the sun. I exercised voraciously, ran 15 miles a day in a plastic suit in the tropics, 6 days a week, kept it up for 10 years.
Wow,
I must have run 37,000 miles.
incredible.
Cycled, and I had my frozen bottle of iced tea, and I would buy 4 or 5 books a week and read them while I was out sunning. And the owner of the bookstore after a while said, "You know what? Take this book. It's on me." She handed me a book on philosophy. I had a hard time getting into it that first week, but then it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I got into it really heavy. A particular philosopher. I have a vast library of his stuff, videos, you name it, books, talks, and it completely changed my life very, very deeply.
That's awesome. But I want to ask you though, what was your favorite venue? Out of all the venues you've performed at?
Performing?
Yes.
No, whatever I'm doing at the moment is my favorite. It's it's that. You live in the moment. I live in the moment. I don't. So whatever I'm doing at that moment is my favorite thing that I'm doing. I'm obviously an opera singer. If you hear me sing, you say, "Oh yeah, I get it. He's an opera singer." But
Yes.
you have to perfect a different voice when you go into nightclubs or Broadway. You have to understand the art form, and so it's been a tremendous learning experience for me. And I try to cover that in the book. Like I said, I jump around a lot from my beginnings as an immigrant, following baseball, following Mickey Mantle, and all that stuff, and other things. And I get into things that are some, love story, romances that I've had, which were monumental in my life. And I thought this book would probably get. There are 2 chapters in there that are a bit saucy, and I said, "Oh, this is going to get me an R rating or an X rating." But no, because it's something that happened to me when I was 6 years old that I covered later on when I was singing at the Met, and I fell into this beautiful older soprano. She took a liking to me,
Oh
and
boy.
so
Well,
that's a,
don't
that,
spoil it.
that's a story right there that started when I was 6, that
Mhm.
resolved itself, 30 odd years later.
Crazy, crazy. Well,
So
I'm excited for readers to read about that too. Something about the book too. In the back cover,
yeah,
you emphasize that your mom would hug me and your father would criticize your cooking.
right.
How bad was your cooking?
My cooking is excellent. As a matter
Oh,
of
it's
fact, I tell you,
excellent. So what was his
I
problem
have
then?
I have over there about 16 feet of cookbooks. So I got into it early when I was young, and I have always cooked. The kitchen is my room. I love cooking. I love perfecting things. There are things that I don't touch that I leave as they are because they are classic,
Mhm.
you know. But I love cooking. But my father would always criticize me. I don't know what it was with him, whether he was competing with me, which is kind of silly, because I have 3 kids,
Mhm.
older now,
Yeah.
and of course I want them to be better than me. My word. But I think he was competing with me on a level that okay, okay, that's the way it is. My mom would hug me. and my father would criticize my cooking. That's just that's just the way it is, you know. But I think later on in life, when he was much older, and I was cooking for him, he actually did say one time, you know, this is really good.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like all these.
What did you make him? Do you remember what you made him?
Oh, it was probably some chicken thing, you know. That I'm telling you, I'm a cook. I mean, the kitchen is my room, and I cook like
Hell yeah.
five.
And you're an Italian man too, so the sauce must be incredible.
Yeah, well, a simple tomato sauce is the easiest thing to make, and it becomes the basic sauce for other things that you make. But a simple tomato sauce is so easy to make. You only need butter, a can of crushed tomatoes, and half an onion.
Hell yeah. San Marzana.
Yeah, there you go. San
Yeah.
Marzano is a very small little area near Naples
Yeah.
where you get those tomatoes, you know.
Yes.
And
The
it
best.
is the easiest sauce to make. 25 minutes, you're done. Then you add things to it to perfect it to make other things.
Mhm.
You know. So there you go.
100%. You know, when you were immigrating to America, you know, was that a scary time for you, or you know, what was going on in your mind?
Yeah, you know, the month before we came to the United States, 1956, the Andrea Doria sank outside of New York Harbor. It
Wow.
was struck by another cruise ship, the Stockholm, and the
And that's where your
flagship.
interest in cruise ships came from, right? Obviously.
Yeah, the flagship of the Italian line sank,
Yeah.
and we came over a month later. So I was petrified
Wow.
because we sailed right over it. You know, I was petrified. And this is the story that I cover in the book 1956, 1986, where this whole thing with the Andrea Doria and the Stockholm resolved itself because
Mhm.
I was in St. Petersburg, Russia, on a cruise ship, and I was looking at the ship in front of us docked. They were getting passengers off, and they announced that that was the Stockholm, the ghost ship that came out of the fog and hit the Andrea Doria. All of a sudden, I'm looking at it 30 years later. And I covered this in the book. I covered this in the book. You really have to read it, you know.
Oh hell yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I know. I read it, you know, and I'm excited for people to read it too. But I was just so curious, you know, for I want the readers who are going to pick this up to know, you know, kind of like a little bit of your history too, you know, to kind of get
Yeah, yeah,
that understanding of, you know, what it's like to come from, you know, a completely different place to, you know,
yeah.
to come here, you
Couldn't
know.
speak a word of English.
Yeah.
Frightening for a little kid. But you know, little kids are like sponges. They pick up everything. And within 3-4 months, I was sitting at the back of the class uh, in elementary school, and I was teaching other kids about math and this and that. Kids are like sponges. They pick up everything, you know.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I go into that in the book. I jump around uh, different things, recipes. I have 2 X-rated recipes in the book that I included. It's kind of fun to read. It's a fun read. And there's a lot of philosophy. There's some poetry. Uh, and it's a real easy read. And I do jump around. I don't stay on one subject for that long. So it keeps
Yeah.
you interested, you know.
That's
There
incredible.
are 3 short stories in the book, 3 or 4. And the last one is on compassion. And whenever I read it, I totally fall apart. I wrote it, but whenever I read it, I fall apart. I
Man.
need to have a box of, you know,
Yeah.
tissues, you know, on hand.
100%. You know, Fabio, I want to ask you too, what are you doing next now? You know, what's next for you?
Okay, I've accumulated writings between me and my fiance, things that we've written. So my next book, and I mentioned it to her, and she said she was so excited to hear this. I've accumulated all these notes, these sort of love letters, you know, and I have about a 200-page book right now. So that is my next book that I'm working on. It's a series of love notes. You know, like when somebody goes into an old house, they pull up the floor,
Yeah.
planks of the floor, and they find letters. that were written 150 years before between two people, maybe a president and his wife, you know. So this is the type of thing, you know, that I'm writing on right now. Beautiful notes of love, and there are a couple of entries that are really heavy, but it's a way of telling people, you know, you have one life to live, and live it to the hilt. You know, I used to see people, passengers who would come on after working 50 weeks out of the year, and then they would buy a cruise and they would come on it and they would have fun galore. And I would say to them, well, why don't you take this home with you? You know, you can live this way at home, you know, and that's the way I live my life. So,
it's a beautiful way of looking at it too.
Yeah, with this book, I hope to do that. You know, I still live 20 hours a day. I still have midnight buffet at night. We raid the refrigerator and make it fun. You know.
Yeah, 100%, and especially the food's gonna be better anyway too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Fabio, thank you so much for joining me here on Global Book Network. Again, the book is called 3:45 a.m. Time for a Pot of Rum. You can check it out on Amazon. Fabio, thanks again for joining me here, and best of luck with the career, and best of luck with this book, and definitely come back when you have your next one.
Thank you, Zach. It was a pleasure being here with you.
It's a pleasure talking to you as well. Good luck with everything. And thanks so much for the viewers listening here and watching on YouTube and on.
There's my T-shirt right there.
Oh, there you go. Nice T-shirt. Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, of course. Well, thanks again for joining us here on globalbooknetwork.tv. I'm Zach Feldman. And if you want to check out more interviews, check out go to globalbooknetwork.tv. The T-shirt messed me up. Go to globalbooknetwork.tv and check out all of our author interviews there. And also check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/globalbooknetworktv. I'm Zach Feldman. We'll see you here on the next one very soon.